Hare Krishna and good morning to all of you. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur ki jai, disappearance of Srila Prabhupada ki jai. As Srila Prabhupada said, I have my Prabhupada, so that's Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, and immediately I realized I took karatas without stripes. Okay, Jita Prabhupada, can I ask you just give me another set of karatas? Oh, this one is. So, today we are going to speak hopefully something meaningful about Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Srila Prabhupada, who is founder of Gaudiya Math. And immediately after mentioning Gaudiya Math, there is some tension in the air. So we are going to try to resolve it and see where do we stand in relationship towards Gaudiya Math, what was the contribution of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, and hopefully we will have some, or maybe some more insights, how can we function and how can we perform our devotional service in a better way. So that's my humble, ambitious goal. And with your help, I'm sure we will be able to reach it out. Thank you. Grazie. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Gopi Chanavallabha Kirivadadhari Jaya Gopi Chanavallabha Kirivadadhari Yashodanandana Brajajanaranjanam Yashodanandana Brajajanaranjanam Yamunatira Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Shishi Radha Madhava ki jai, Shishi Radha Gopinath ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Disappearance Day of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Okay, dear Vaishnavas, Hare Krishna, good morning, good to see you all. I'm maybe not so thrilled to sit here. Usually on disappearance and appearance of Vaishnavas and festivals, I prefer to sit there. But usually every second Wednesday I'm here to sit and serve Srimad Bhagavatam and Vaishnavas. When it came, today is the day when it's also Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur's disappearance day. So, okay, I'm going to sit for the first time and speak something about it. Hopefully it's going to be meaningful. Although, I would rather say it would be better that some of senior Vaishnavas sitting here, especially those of you a little bit more agey, who are more contemporary of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta. There are a few of you. Hare Krsna. I would like, I guess all of you are pretty much familiar with Gaudiya philosophy. You were attending the classes, right? Not of any of you is really new around? Not so much. Okay, great. Hare Krishna Mataji, welcome. So, what I would like to do today, address the big topic of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur and his contribution and our position in that relationship. And hopefully it's going to resolve something. At least it's going to be clearer to us. And of course, we cannot run away from fact that he is founder of, as I said, Gaudiya Mat. And for a number of us, Gaudiya Mat, and also with the experience, is having certain tension, especially contemporary Gaudiya Mat devotees, which is kind of very absurd, because it's our family. In one sense, we are Gaudiya Mat, because ISKCON is natural branch and succession of Gaudiya Mat. So we are going to speak about that, and I would love to start with the joke, if you don't mind. And hopefully that's going to be an appropriate joke, and hopefully I'm going to address overall topic in a proper way. If I don't, class is going to be missed. So, it's my concoction of the class, of the joke, but it's very significant, and I think it's very appropriate. There is one gentleman who wanted to jump from the bridge, commit suicide. You know that joke? No. Okay, we heard it here many years ago by Raj Vihari Prabhu, and I found it's very insightful. So the person wanted to jump from the bridge. I usually visualize this golden bridge in San Francisco, red, and people are usually jumping from that one. And also those people who are jumping, those who survived, they said, we regret it at the moment we were off the bridge. So the person is looking to jump, and there is another person passing by saying, hey, what are you going to do? Are you nuts? Don't commit suicide. So then the person said, well, no one loves me. And what should I do? I'm going to jump. No, listen. God loves you. And why would you do that? Are you following any tradition? Yes. In fact, I do. I'm some kind of Hindu. Interesting. I'm also Hindu. But interesting enough, you are having white skin, and I'm also... Well, what kind of Hindu you are? He said, well, I'm Vaishnava. Really? And another person said, oh, really, you're Vaishnava? But I'm also Vaishnava. That's quite fascinating. We are meeting here at the Golden Gate Bridge. He said, yeah, but what kind of Vaishnava? Well, I'm kind of follower of Krishna. I'm Krishna devotee. He said, I'm also Krishna devotee. Oh, this is so interesting. Well, come on, no way you're going to jump up. What kind of Krishna devotee? Which follow with tradition? Well, I'm something called Gaudiyas. Really? Gaudiya Vaishnava? That's amazing. I'm also Gaudiya Vaishnava. So, well, it's quite fascinating, and kind of, it's so rare to find Gaudiyas. So rare. We are like a footnote in a chapter of Hinduism, pretty much not being able to see in this world. Now we are meeting here at this bridge, and you're going to commit suicide. I said, well, okay, but tell me, which denomination of Gaudiya Vaishnavas you are? He said, well, I am in fact Saraswati Parivar. I'm branch of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati. He said, well, it's unbelievable. I'm also. And where do you fit there? He said, well, I'm in fact Bhaktivedanta Swami's follower, ISKCON. He said, it's crazy. We are both following the same tradition. We are part of the same institution. But tell me, before Are you ISKCON before Guru Reform or after? He said, after Guru Reform. He said, I'm also. Well, and I'm also reinitiated, my Guru fell down. He said, oh, me also. He said, well, did you sign the allegiance to the oath of allegiance towards GBC? Well, in fact, I didn't. Then jump. So ultimately, the whole idea of the joke is that we can be Hindus, we can be Gaudiyas, we can be Hare Krishnas, we can be devotee in a community, but if you don't have one check on that endless list, we can be sign off, die, jump. No, better jump. So that sometimes I personally experienced and also perceive in our lives, in my life, when we encounter some of the followers of the same tradition, which is extremely rare. Gaudiyas are extremely rare, seeing us as a footnote of some chapter, not even page. That's the reality. Some of you who pretty much familiar with the Gaudiya tradition, we are extremely, and again, extremely rare. Although we like to say we are Vaishnavas, there are millions and billions followers. Yes, but those who are chanting Hare Krishna are extremely rare. So, being kind, being supportive, being familiar and supportive to our first family members in our branch, it's always very important. But of course, we can also realize and have insight that those who are closest to us sometimes are always the most challenging and most painful to interact. Family members, where the suffer comes the most, from those who are super close. So, saying that Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati founded the mission called Gaudiya Mat. At least in my mind and my realization, I always know, well, Gaudiya, he's a Gaudiya. He is somewhere else. He's not part of our parivar. But no. Ultimately, we are all family, and sometimes because of our ignorance and immaturity and neophyte attitude, we are committing certain offenses and we are not respecting those who should be respected. Ultimately, everyone should be respected, but especially if we find someone who is so close to us, or family members. Why do I say that? Because even Krishna in Bhagavad Gita is always referring to the family. You are part of that family, you are obliged. So we should also have that in mind and have certain mature attitude. And saying that, now I'm going to go to Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur and his mission, just to kind of give you a little bit more, one more layer of the whole constellation and challenges we are having. And also that's my experience. Not many years ago, maybe not 20 years, but maybe 2006, we had this conference here. And then one wonderful Vaishnava called, from Sweden, scholar, Mans Bro, he gave a presentation on Gaudiya's mission in 30s in the Western world. I guess someone like Tattvavid Prabhu was around. I was there. Brigupad Prabhu, he's a scholar, wonderful Vaishnava. He gave the review how it was with the Bon Maharaj in 1933, 34, when he was sailed from Calcutta to Western Europe. And then he gave ultimately realistic presentation. In 30s, last century, Prabhupada was not part of that mission. Prabhupada was leaving India in 65. But what happened, and then I was seeing that issue of our relationship with Gaudiya Mat, which is our mat also, was so prominently present in that discourse, because after that presentation of Brigupad, some devotees were so disturbed that he didn't speak about Srila Prabhupada. Ultimately, in 1930s, last century, Prabhupada was still in a preparatory phase of his mission. And some sannyasis went already to the West. And then it became clear to me how that is so sensitive. Devotees were so offended why Srila Prabhupada was not mentioned in that. And of course, Brigupad, which I still owe the big apology on behalf of our community, was very gracious. In one sense, he was initiated by ISKCON guru who left, and he was then again initiated, or he was taking shiksha from another Prabhupada disciple. So it's our tradition, but because he was speaking about something where there was no Prabhupada, then it was very clear. We did this service to him, but also to Srila Prabhupada and the whole parampara on that way. So my understanding and my insight is that we should be always very cautious and grateful and realistic in our interactions and supportive. Because if we are not doing that, we are committing maybe something which in Gaudiya Mat stands as a greatest offense, offending Vaishnavas, other practitioners, those who are chanting Hare Krishna. And because of that, our mind is going to be cluttered, intelligence is going to be confused. Not to speak about current days and experiences we are having. So that's my humble input in the topic, which is super important. But coming back to Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. If someone would ask you, if you can briefly, in maximum 2 sentences, 3 okay, not more, say who was and what's the contribution of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. I was asking yesterday a few devotees, and I don't think any of you is around. Maybe? Yeah. So, in 2-3 sentences, what would you say? Who? Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Prabhupada even. Anything. What comes to your mind if you would need to explain that to someone? Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati is Nikunja Vasani Mataji?
He tried to combine all the 4 sampradayas.
Okay, Mataji Nikunja Vasani saying he was trying to unify all 4 sampradayas because according to the Padma Puran, there are 4 sampradayas, and there is also prediction that someone is going to unify that and give the essence of the teaching. Mataji Nikunja, that's also in connection with Bhakti Vinod, his father, who also took it up and had the same mission. Jai Punatattva Prabhu, Guru Parampara Ki, Jai. We are speaking about Srila Bhaktisiddhanta, and since you are here, it's not surprise that we are going to ask you very same question. In 2 sentences, if you would be asked Bhaktisiddhanta, what would you say? Who was Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur?
He was the spiritual master of Srila Prabhupada, the founder Acharya of the International Society of Krishna Consciousness.
Thank you. Punatattva Prabhupada saying it's about Prabhupada. It's a Prabhupada's guru. It's his Prabhupada. Thank you. Thank you. Ultimately, a few other Vaishnavas told me the same thing yesterday. Who was Bhaktisiddhanta? Bhaktisiddhanta is, well, standard. He's guru of Srila Prabhupada. That's great. And even I was fortunate enough to hear some classes on Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati. And some Vaishnavas were starting to speak about him, and they would go to Srila Prabhupada. And then instead of Bhaktisiddhanta, they would speak about the achievements of Srila Prabhupada, which is wonderful, but that's the same vision, so we are same parampara. Someone else? Bhaktisiddhanta? Anything? Yes. What's your good name? You're here new in the community. Neshala. Yes. Israel? No?
From Bosnia.
Oh! Dobrodošla.
So I heard he had such a good memory, so whatever he would read, he would remember, and like he would read the dictionary, and he would remember like all words in different.
Exactly. He was able to remember everything that he read till the end of his lifetime. He must be daughter of some of my friends. Must be. Anyway, I will ask you later. Something else?
Yeah.
Rohini Nandana.
The thing which comes in my mind is that he was a reformer.
Exactly. Great. Thank you.
A reformer because he allowed people who were considered like outcasts to become Brahmanas.
Exactly. That's something what I got yesterday also from one Vaishnava. I said he was the one who was able to connect outcasts because it was, and then
says that he didn't eat mangoes.
How dare you to say that? Exactly. He was as a small boy. He was not offering mango, and then he said for the whole life, sweet, juicy mango, he's not going to take. Anyway, I would like to start first from the context. Where is and what the circumstances Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Swami coming from? And first thing what we can say about Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, without being wrong, his son of Bhaktivinoda, that's his context. He's son of Srila Bhaktivinoda, and he is carrying on mission started by Srila Bhaktivinoda. That's more than clear. He is loyal son who sees mission of Srila Bhaktivinoda, his father, to be furthered and established further. But why? What was going on? What kind of mission? What we are speaking about? Speaking about the context of mid-19th century in Bengal, in Orissa, there were Gaudiya Vaishnavas jumped down. they were around, but context is most probably very different or extremely different than now. What's the situation with Gaudiya mission and Gaudiya practitioners at that time?
Great Britannia.
That was Great Britannia, but what was the situation with how Gaudiya's followers and of Lord Chaitanya were seen at that time? Vrinda. Kas Goswamis were there. They were having ownership of holy name and the idea who is going to and who can chant and who is qualified and who is not, who is pure, who is not, that's for sure. But even bigger problem. Thank you. They were Bhaktivinoda Thakur is calling them Apasampradayas, and they are pretty much labeled as easygoing Radha Krishna love rich Sahajiyas. But more important is that Gaudiya community were completely disrespected. They were not category of beggars, but just they were immoral. And according to Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, his father said, this is not the way, this is not the teaching of Lord Chaitanya, which we are also looking to carry on. And then his mission was to reset the standards of behavior, that's one thing, Achar, but also, and he was then becoming Acharya, following his father. Acharya means one who exemplifies the teachings. Not only that, but then he was setting up the mission, for the first time organized mission in the form of Gaudiya Math, which is going to sustain that teaching and organize proper preaching or communication of Krishna consciousness. That's pretty much the core of his position, but even more interesting, to make it more complex. He's seen as a ray of Vishnu, according to Bhaktivinoda, because Bhaktivinoda Thakur prayed, who will be able to help my mission, establish a Gaudiya Vaishnavism. And then it happened. And he had a dream, and there is reason why, just to make it shorter, the reason why his birth name is Bimal Prasad. Bimal Prasad means Bhoga offered to Jagannath in Orissa, in Jagannath Puri temple, goes to the Bimala, personify Jagannath's energy. And then Bhaktivinoda had a dream that because of taking Mahaprasad, that's Mahaprasad, from Bimala, he's going to get a son who could support his mission. But it wouldn't be so easy, that also there is certain contradiction or challenge. Because there were 12 kids or 14. How many children Bhaktivinoda Thakur had? 12? 30 something, 12 or 14, something. And there is another son, which was also quite established. And he was also supporting the mission of his father. And his name was Lalit Prasad. Now there is Srila Bhaktisiddhanta, but there is also a younger brother. And then that mission of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta is getting another flavor. And that's connected with overall mood he had. On one side, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati was looking to continue the mission and establish the Gaudiya Vaishnavism. In the same time, we have also his brother, who is having a slightly different understanding, because Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, and this is now maybe getting a little bit complicated, there was also esoteric practice amongst the Gaudiyas, so-called Siddha Pranalis and meditation on Krishna Lila. And according to some, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur was also having that as a practice. And that part of his teaching and his practice was taken by Lalit Prasad also. So Lalit was putting emphasis on that, and also, as some of you mentioned, on that family heritage. And Bhaktisiddhanta was slightly different. He was putting emphasis, which is later defined Srila Prabhupada's mission, holy name and practice of chanting Hare Krishna as the ultimate resolution to everything. And Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur take it as his mission. And those esoteric practice, Siddha Pranali, Ashtakar, he said, that's something which is going to be revealed with the proper chanting of Hare Krishna. So that's in the same family. We can see that there is certain clear polarity, and we can see later, there is one beautiful photo of Srila Prabhupada from 1972. Prabhupada is sitting with Lalit Prasad, who was almost 100 years, and they were discussing, there was Gurudas, Yamuna, and other Vaishnavas with Prabhupada in Birla Nagar, the birthplace of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. And it was a beautiful, I did some essay on that, so that's the reason why I know it maybe more in details. The whole idea that Lalit Prasad inherited that property, he was the only son left, and Prabhupada wanted to re-establish the birthplace and maintain the place, and it was certain agreement between Lalit, who is, imagine, Prabhupada's superior, his brother or his guru. So Prabhupada is having different role. He has to be humble and respectful with, and then it came clear that the Lalit Prasad, although promising to Prabhupada the property to ISKCON in 72, he's going to give, and then you maintain, make the kind of place of pilgrimage. On the second visit, Srila Lalit Prasad, he changed his mind. And then what happened? Prabhupada becomes super upset. And then Prabhupada, instead of, this is something beautiful we can learn from Prabhupada. Prabhupada asked the questions, but he raised the voice. Is it pity and shameful we are not able to protect this property and the temple? And Prabhupada was kind of raising the voice, and Jayapataka Maharaj is retelling that very clearly. And then devotees were completely shocked how you can raise your voice on someone like Lalit Prasad. And then Prabhupada said, very insightful. Yes, Nikunja, you know it? Because I was asking questions. It's not offense. So that's beautiful. How could you do that? How can you do it? Well, you don't know. And then he said, and that was it. So in one sense, it's very instructive. But back on Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, indeed, he was amazing scholar, super intelligent. As someone of you said, that he was able to recall everything he read. But he was also having interest in education, formal education in English, and then astrology also. And at the age of 16, he was by his friends called Saraswati Thakur, because he was able to translate into Bengal from Sanskrit, Surya, Narayan scripture. That's something about astrology, practical astrology. And he loved it. And from then, age of 16, he was always using Saraswati Thakur. Later, when he took sannyas in 1918, the year when my grandfather is born, he just added Bhakti, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. But initially, his name is Bimal Prasad, and the surname is, what was the surname of Bhakti we know? Or family, yeah? Datta, exactly. And interesting enough, I didn't know, they also trace the connection towards Narottam Thakur, bloodline towards Narottam. That's quite something. And of course, he's coming from super established Kayas background, family, and they are known for centuries as administrators of his Bhaktivinod's family is very established and rich, so it's very aristocratic family. They were having possessions and so on. But at the time, around Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati's birth, who's born 22 years before Srila Prabhupada, so 1974 is 1874, correct? Prabhupada is 1906, then he's 74. They were having some financial troubles, the family. So of course they are now becoming more serious devotees, so Krishna is taking. And then he was relocating himself in different places in India, but he was a superintendent, he was doing certain overseeing activities as a manager, Srila Bhaktivinoda. And as I said, for Srila Bhaktisiddhanta, he was super intelligent, and he was looking always how to support the mission of his father. But again, just to come back to that idea that there is certain tension between him and his brother is very evident, because number of writings, even diaries, from his father, Bhaktivinoda, are written towards Lalit. So Lalit Prasad, based on his position, she was also saying, okay, I have certain position and certain understanding how things should be happening, how we develop and further the mission of our father. And interesting enough, although being a little bit on tension, they were managing relationship until the moment, which moment? When sannyas is taken by Srila Bhaktisiddhanta. 1918, that was the year of sannyas. And then they're a little bit separated. What was the reason for separation? More clear and evident at that time. What happened with sannyas? Jai Shri Radha Gopinath Ki Jai. Today, Gopinath is, at least for me, resembles a little bit facial expression of London Ishvara. At least for me. Yeah, exactly. For me, it's like Durbi Ishvara. So, again, question is, in 1980 when Srila Bhaktisiddhanta took sannyas, there was a little bit separation from two brothers. What was the reason for? But more clear. What happened? Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati took sannyas, but how he took sannyas?
In front of a picture.
In front of the picture. So, imagine these days someone like Bhaktisiddhanta coming out of sadhana with danda. Who did you get your sannyas? No, from my guru. But your guru departed 4 years before. From the picture. So it's quite revolutionary persona, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Of course, he was very clear, he is not giving preference, neither admiration towards heritage of tradition, that we as a Gaudiyas are family religion and my father gave me something. But it's very, very controversial, because in case of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he was so connected with the father, and he would criticize other family tradition from and even on top of it, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati received first 2 initiation, Harinam, from Bhaktivinoda. So, and then Bhaktivinoda also, what he did, he said, you should take initiation from Gorkishore Das Babaji, who is his disciple. So it was quite on one sense, so, and on top of it, then Bhaktisiddhanta was very clear, he is breaking the family heritage, Gaudiya tradition, and he said, no, it's about qualification. It's not matter who do you coming from, do you Nityananda Parivar or you are Advaita? No, qualification. And that's something what we can see also in the mood of Srila Prabhupada. And that's the reason why we can also understand, as sometimes they say, even Mlecha and Avanas are able to chant Hare Krishna. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur introduced the policies that devotees or the practitioners, sadhakas, if they are serious in their chanting, and they apply themselves properly to the process, your background is not important. It's super evolution. It was not like that. Even today in India, if you are born in a particular caste or outcast, no, you're just disrespected and disqualified for the life. That's very much. So, in my sense, West is the best, because in West we don't have it. We are sometimes saying, I'm coming from this background. No, you're coming from background that you are allowed and given privilege to chant Hare Krishna, and you are able to move forward. At that time in India, that was not the case. That was, and to the extent that Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati was experiencing, life-threatening circumstances in few parikrams he performed. People wanted to kill him physically, just because of his strong and bold preaching. And that's the reason why, as you know, he's called the Lion Guru. That's the reason why, pretty much, because he was very loud. He didn't budge. He would go straight forward and openly would criticize all those smarter traditions, like we are privileged, we are this. Even you can see that in sometimes in our society. We are second generation, we are Kirtaniyas, we are this, and no one else can break our circle. That's not something what Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati was endorsing at all. It was just a question, if you are there and if you are willing to apply the process of sadhana bhakti, and I'm saying again sadhana vaidhi bhakti, then you are fine. And that's another contribution Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati did, and which is also taken by Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada and mission of Srila Prabhupada, and if you want ISKCON society, is extension of Gaudiya Mat vision. It's not that Prabhupada invented anything new. Prabhupada was very creative, as Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati was creative, as Bhaktivinoda Thakur. They were just very, very dynamic person. This is the best part, I would say. They were not glued to the tradition, but they understand, according to the place, as Srila Prabhupada say, circumstances and time, you apply and give certain prescriptions how to practice and how to move forward towards Krishna, and that's about spiritual progress. So that's very wonderful what we are inherited as a tradition. So in one sense, even now, we can see that we're always having that polarity in a society. You have some creative people, dynamic people, and those who are stick to the tradition. Would Srila Prabhupada? No, Srila Prabhupada didn't do that, we are not going to do that. And that way you glue Prabhupada to the particular circumstances, you glue parampara, but parampara, disciple succession, and the knowledge and practice is very dynamic. That's the parampara. It evolves and finds new shape. And if we are not able to use our brain how to practically apply principles of Krishna consciousness, we can be stuck. And things are going to happen and we are going to still fight about the tradition. Is it right or not? So that's something what we can see from Srila Bhaktisiddhanta and from Srila Prabhupada, how they were creative in many ways, just to be able to spread the mission of Lord Chaitanya, but without compromise, without sahajiya mentality. You just, although we sometimes say, let us be frank, just chant Hare Krishna, and well, ultimately that's true. And things are going, that is true, and that's not true. It is not just. It's a science. It's a science, and it's very serious. So whoever say chanting Hare Krishna is easy, it's true. But at the same time, it's too easy, and that's the hard part. And teachings of Bhaktisiddhanta, and Prabhupada very much copy-paste pretty much the mood, the ideas, the attitude, and it's quite kind of mind-blowing to which extent Prabhupada was taking the ideas of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, and many times we think that's from Prabhupada. But it's not, it's from Bhaktisiddhanta. Although Prabhupada is not saying that directly. Many things. Do you know anything what Srila Prabhupada was saying, for instance, but he didn't refer that it's from Bhaktisiddhanta? Anything. There are a number of things. And I was shocked. Well, look at that. You know, Prabhupada was doing plagiarism. He didn't mention from who is coming, but everything was there. Well, for instance, idea to make one devotee, you have to sweat gallons of sweat and blood. That's written by Srila Bhaktisiddhanta. And then to make one devotee, there's another statement which is also in that direction. To make one devotee, you need... It was kind of... but those are things written by Srila Bhaktisiddhanta. So Prabhupada was just doing that, and it was quite, for me, quite insightful. Back to Bhaktisiddhanta. Well, just to kind of present him how revolutionary he is, he wouldn't sustain himself in the current ISKCON, that's for sure. He wouldn't have place, he would be rejected. Why? Because Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati was not paying attention to the rituals and certain dogmatic things without proper understanding. So he was always able to challenge it. And even in relationship with his guru, Srila Gorkishore Das Babaji, he got 3 instructions. This is the best part. And 3 instructions which he received, and he, 3 instructions from Bhakti, according to some, 3 instructions were, don't go to Calcutta, never, don't accept disciples, and don't associate with worldly people. And then, don't go to Calcutta, he opens the temple there. He is there even when Prabhupada came to him for the first time. Not only that, he's living in the same building with the 4 Grihastha families, and he is on the roof. So, instruction that he doesn't go to Calcutta, very much crossed. Don't accept disciples. Well, he was having thousands of disciples, that's for sure. So it was not something to be done. And don't associate with the worldly people. Well, he did. He was even in Mayapur, even in Kolkata, you know, pretty much number of officers from Britain. They would meet him, he would preach them. But they are pretty much worldly people because they don't respect tradition. They don't respect that. They see the way how they are going to control the society and further distract and destroy the society of Hindus there. But there is explanation for each of reasons why he crossed over the instruction. Any idea? Accepting disciple, it's very clear. Why he did accept disciple if Gorkishore said don't? Even I think Gorkishore was having only 1 disciple, that's him. Yeah, so he said don't accept disciples. And any idea why would he do something if he was don't do that?
Spreading Krishna.
Yeah, spreading Krishna. That's a good political answer. Plus, Purna Tata Prabhu.
Did he answer?
He said to spread Krishna consciousness. That's the reason. That's the higher instance.
I think because he knew the heart of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, and therefore Bhaktivinoda Thakur was the teacher of Gorkishore Das Babu Maharaj. So actually, in that field, he felt safe that I'm making the mission of my father.
Okay, so that's kind of, he took up shelter of higher authority, and that's the reason why he did it. Nikunja Vasani Mataji?
I thought it was because he didn't take disciples, he took them as he was a servant of them.
Yes, that's his answer. He didn't, and that's something that Dr. Srila Prabhupada a few times revealed. He doesn't see people who took initiation, Harinam and Diksha from him as inferior, but he sees them as superior because they are representatives of Parampara and his guru. So that's the whole idea, such a bright attitude. You don't see someone like he's there to be my servant. No. This is grace of my guru there, and through them I'm instructing them for the highest sake, and that's the service of Radha and Krishna. In particular, I would say Bhaktisiddhanta was always meditating on Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the mission of Lord Chaitanya in the service of the holy name. Okay, going to Calcutta, that's also very, very clear because he was opening the temples, and temples are not the material places. Also interacting with the people who are materialistically, his answer is, I'm not depending on them. So I'm not associating or taking anything from them. I'm giving them. So that's the change of the position. So such a bright, outstanding approach. Imagine in conservative India 100 years ago. It's inconceivable what kind of circumstances they were living in and what kind of strong personality Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was. And we can see in Srila Prabhupada's writing letters the way how Srila Prabhupada admires Srila Bhaktisiddhanta, and he feels always connected, and he reflects in his writing to the extent that he said, I was never alone. And because he was part of the mission. But for us, Prabhupada's followers, we can be trapped in something. What can we be trapped? We can see Prabhupada, and it's happening, at least from my perception, please forgive me if, and I will be happy that I'm wrong. Sometimes we see Srila Prabhupada disconnected from parampara, from his guru, from Bhakti Vinod. A kind of Prabhupada is on his own. No, the strength of Srila Prabhupada and our strength, because we are in the same mission. That means parampara, if we perceive ourselves, and then visually, I was also, personally, I seen that. Once we had one festival, and on a Vyasasana of Srila Prabhupada, there was a hall, a side, and they stuck the picture of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta on that hall. So Bhaktisiddhanta having small picture close to Srila Prabhupada's feet. And I was thinking, I was new devotee, it was the 90s, late 90s, I said, something's wrong, you know, but I kind of, who can I say? It was a festival. And then the devotee said, then at that time Parangati Swami, he said, well, we shouldn't do that, you know, that's not position of Bhaktisiddhanta. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati is big and Srila Prabhupada is small in that relation. That's parampara, that's the way how do we see that. And if we see that differently, we are definitely committing mistake. I don't want to say a parada, but that's not the way. We should respect Prabhupada in a way that he is in a footstep of and that's Prabhupada wanted to see. Not that he is on his own, he's representative of something which is only him. No, it's succession, glorious succession, which goes towards Chaitanya, towards Krishna, ultimately towards Balarama as an Adi Guru. So that way we can be saved, and that way, I would say personally, it's also the way how we can respect others, especially Gaudiyas, those who are very much our own blood, same tradition. Why? Because they are so dear to Krishna and Parampara and to Bhaktisiddhanta, because they are all grand disciples or grand disciples. We should have that respectful mood, because if we don't do so, one of the things which Vaishnavas at time of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta were thinking about, you can do everything, but don't do Vaishnava Parada. Don't disrespect others who are committed on that way. If we not following that, then we are making a blunt mistake. We are kind of letting our own blood go away. So that's the reason initially I was telling you about this joke about Gaudiya Mat. There should be respect. It's not, we should be mature. And that's something which is unfortunate also for us as a society. Many times we are very much immature. We think that some initiation and some kind of mystical process is going to resolve your problem. That's just beginning of everything. So you have to be smart to understand. We are living on shiksha, on instructions, and it's a lifelong process. It's not a matter of initiation. it should be committed for at least one lifetime. And that way, if we do so, we will be able to have better relationship and more respect. And that's great. That's the reason why we are going to get spiritual Shakti, spiritual power. That doesn't mean that we are going to go somewhere else now. We are going to, at least I'm not eager to get more initiations. I'm very, very overburdened with things I had. I don't need more. But you know, it's always nice to respect other Vaishnavas. And I can also tell you frankly, even recently, we had here Swami Padmanabha. He's our family friend. He's kind of part of our tradition very much. He was disciple of two Srila Prabhupada's disciples. And the way how I see and how I read how other contemporary Vaishnavas are able to be rude, it's very unnecessary. Very rude and very accusing. You are this, you are that, you are impersonalist, you are... And that's very dangerous if we place ourselves in a position that we are judging those who are chanting Hare Krishna and who are very friendly, not looking to convert or anything. My humble input. And I'm firm behind it, because I was seeing that leads nowhere. In addition to the misery. All right, so that's pretty much what I wanted to say about Srila... No, I had many more things. This is just part of the things I wanted to say about Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada, and hopefully there was something for you, as there was something for me. I profit a lot from preparation of this class. As I said, I never spoke on appearance or disappearance days of great Vaishnavas. But looks like as time goes by, and if we are around, we are going to do that more often. Yeah, then as Radhanath Maharaj said, you know, I'm here because all before me, they are gone. So we are getting at least older, and then naturally it's for us and to us to take up more responsibility. Thank you very much for being so kind and listening. Not sleeping. I saw only 2 of you sleeping, so that's extraordinaire. Hare Krishna, dear Vaishnavas, thank you very much. Comments, question? Here we are, listening. No, you were not sleeping, Mataji. No. Not you. They are those who are more tuned with the lecture. They are much quicker going off. You are...
Meditation.
Thank you. Okay, maybe we should hear from seniors. That's the natural way how we should always close the class and hear from them. Tatavid Prabhu, Nikunja Vasini Mataji, Jadurani, Lila Shakti, Rupa Manjari. You are our senior, so if you have anything to add about Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, or even if you want to criticize what I said, please go on. Now is the time. Everything is, it's a big day, Mahotsava, so everything is mercy. But if not, we are also happy to... Oh, Mataji, yes, you are having?
I was just thought maybe, because so many devotees don't get these emails. There's 64. Maybe we could read some.
64. Okay.
Quotes.
Oh, that's something. Okay, Mataji Nikunja Vasini, I will read 10. There are 64 quotes from Srila Bhaktisiddhanta for your meditation. First, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's instructions in Shikshashtakam, Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam, is the only motto of the Gaudiya Mat. Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam. Let there be victory of the chanting of the holy name. Second one, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Shri Krishna, is the only enjoyer. Everyone and everything else is the object of his enjoyment. Third, anyone who does not serve Hari, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is ignorant and a killer of himself. Wow. 4. To learn to tolerate is one of the most important responsibilities of those living in the mat. Tolerate. Rupa Nuga. Well, ultimately, I didn't come to the point of pranam mantra of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta. Twice he's mentioned Rupa Nuga. He's definitely having that as a mission. How to establish mission of Sri Rupa Goswami and all other Goswamis. 6. Those who perform assorted religious activities cannot serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead. 7. Become united with one purpose and serve Hari. 8. Where there is discussion about Hari, that is the place of pilgrimage. 9. We are not pious, sinful, or learned, or ignorant. We are the carriers of the dust of the feet of the Supreme Lord Shri Hari, and we are initiated by the mantra Kirtaniya Sada Hari. And 10. My advice is, do not criticize others. Try to rectify yourself. Oh, this is... And I wanted to say, which I appreciate with Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, is his relationship with the mother, Bhagavati. Usually we read from Srila Prabhupada, he's praising his father as a pure devotee. I didn't read so much about praising the mother. But in Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur case, his mother, Bhagavati, she gave him instruction, spread the holy name in the Western countries at the end of her life. So mother gave him quite something to bite into. Yeah, so she said to further the mission of her. And that's position of her, quite impressive, Bhagavati. Yes, thank you very much. Oh, this is excellent. Indeed, I never read instructions like this. I would say that's it for today. Today is a fast. At noontime we have Pushpanjali here organized, and I think Gopi Raman Prabhu is going to be the one who leads the Jayabhadra Mataji today. Okay, thank you very much. 12 o'clock here again. It's a fast, so, but I guess there is some breakfast for you who are not looking to fast. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, glorious Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya Ki Jai, jump from bridge.
Somebody may say like Guru Maharaj, he is giving a dynamic impulse towards it.
Right, but this particular case, some strong person like Nanda Maharaj, being so close to Srila Prabhupada, some of him around for 60 years, so he has the right to do that in a sense that he's justifying that he's all established, but they use that in their own way, it's also in one sense, they want to say, oh, I think there's no way. They said, okay, you don't have to wear those, you do
Only two steps, Prabhu. Only two steps, he said. No, my eyes were closed against you.
I don't know so much about it, but I also
I have heard all what he said.
Actually, he is like an acharya, also giving some dynamic influence.
You should move him.
If he's going to organize the mission of Srila Prabhupada, it's not only that way. When you show the result, the people are going to
Yes?
But that's not the only way.
Everybody should follow.
Because they are having difficulty, which is happening, that's also not the way. You think you see the whole sorry, you think that's a great decision. It's very external. My essence is not
It's very
if you know how to wear it, then for sure. Saris is good enough. Don't is underneath. I would see your hair and legs. Sorry, but your underwear and then they wear the dog in your
Yeah, but I find it very because I see men with trousers and a t-shirt and you see like bowed down. When I see the dhoti, I realize back and that's very so I wear trousers, but I have always a long so dhoti is in one sense it's very chaste.
it's properly there. No, that was separated. He was not so small. He wouldn't stand because he was much more, and I didn't speak about it, the Swami, the initial guru of Shabaki, he was more aligning with the caste idea of the family tradition. So he was having that property, but only which had a physical capacity. Not that another message is man, Gaudiya completely fell apart, divided, and everything was we should speak about that publicly, but it was not very strong. And instead of that very
Probably didn't want to short slides.
But it was like a lot of
And then towards the, I don't know what's happening. I have no clue. Probably
there.
rebuild and restore the main place in Christmas.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, but he didn't have to, because Lalit was influenced by others. He just said yes.
Yeah, I heard some kind of memory, and the problem says, why? And he said, I didn't offend, I just asked questions. The disciples actually have to push them. One thing I found was be sure that when Bhaktisiddhanta took sannyas, he was still living, he was already passed away. So the Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur and Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur were okay, and when he would have asked.
But you don't have even sannyasis. They are not out there sannyasis, everyone is right. He re-established the tradition one ashrama. It was very, very important. He has died about ashrama. So he, Bhaktisiddhanta, gave him the first orange coat. So you know that only a baby sannyasi.
Oh, Bhaktis, huh?
So he's now coming with the idea, yes, being a sannyasi. It's my that's another thing. Yeah. Evolve. Yeah, I like it so much. That's about the old thing, but yeah, I like it.
In the beginning when I came, I also, in the movie, I could also Dodi top. And then I had, because I couldn't sit properly, I had always had to put my leg in front. So I always meet him. And when I worked in the Buddhimanta from America, he's the only thing you are. He was really happy. But he said, this is only for Siddharthas. Anyway, so afterwards,
Because it was organized when you were Brahmachari that time.
but just for putting it over my leg, so it's easy. But Buddhimanta,
You were obedient.
I'm a distant Brahmachari, so he's a big devotee. He's a big devotee of
By name.
I think it was the one who first presented the book to the gas station.
And they didn't have to pay because they paid. Thank you for the class.
Very nice. Very clear.
Very much. I also was thinking the same in the past. I don't know.
Yes, there's no sun everywhere. They are very rude.
And sometimes we have said more
Absolutely. We are making progress. Even if it's very unfortunate. Yeah, then he's behind desire to control, desire of power, or desire for sensation, which is very, very
the story of
yeah.